A patient should never be left feeling afraid to travel with our service or brought to tears, but this is exactly what has happened to a patient who required patient transport for an appointment that was arranged for her. Here is her story after she rang to complain about the attitude of a PTS driver.
I had been in Frimley Park Hospital having had a vein bypass. The hospital physiotherapist made an appointment for me to attend a prosthesis appointment as I have an artificial limb. The pickup was arranged for 9 a.m. for an 11 a.m. appointment, but the driver arrived an hour early. I was still in bed at the time because the nurses were on a shift change, but I woke to hear the driver shouting she should have been ready at the nurses because I was not up. I was concerned to cause such a problem, so pulled myself to the edge of the bed and got dressed as quickly as I could, despite having just had surgery. The driver then came onto the ward where I was. I said sorry, but the driver carried on shouting, saying they should have woken you. As I'd only just got up, I asked if I could use the toilet and wash before we left, but the driver refused. He also refused to let me wait for a packed lunch, despite the nurses asking him to. He was very rude and pushed me at speed, shouting, "You need to understand that I have other patients to pick up." I was so upset that he made me cry. Even another member of staff approached me to check if I was all right. Then on the return journey, I had the same driver. To amuse myself during the journey, I played solitaire on my mobile phone. The sound was down, although there is a noise when I reach the end of a game. The driver again shouted at me, "Do you think you can turn that off?" and was yelling aggressively at other drivers. Being on my own, I felt quite frightened. What really worries me is I have further appointments and need PTS to get there. I'm worried that I'll get the same driver. I did speak with one of your operational managers about the driver, but they said I should make my appointments on a different day when the driver isn't working, but that isn't possible and isn't very satisfactory. I really don't want the same driver again, as he really frightened me.
The patient has subsequently contacted the service again, saying that she was again collected for an appointment by the same driver and was informed that if she refused to be taken by the driver, we would not be able to take her to future appointments and these would be cancelled. The patient has said this is unfair and through no fault of her own she is paying the price. The patient has since received a letter from the Chief Executive apologising for the way the driver treated her and for the way the manager tried to resolve the situation. The driver will no longer be driving for the Trust.